Examples of personal change from my life is the title of my talk to you today. I have amazing experiences to tell. I have started this series of talks to tell you that understanding is the key for our freedom. We need personal knowledge about everything, including our beliefs, not only to protect ourselves from false beliefs, it is also necessary to improve in the pursuit of our life goals with the best values. I also told you that we have a great responsibility on our shoulders to enrich our culture if we desire to have freedom, be creative, and advance in our relationships in our homes and societies. It would be hypocritical and deceitful if I myself have not experienced such a change, but ask others to open themselves to changes. For this reason, I have chosen to speak about the personal changes in my own life in this part of my talks so that you can understand that my talks are the reflections of the good changes in my own life. I have a true story to tell. I'm changed, renewed in mind and heart, and have been blessed by the changes in my life abundantly. I wish you to weigh my reasons, consider such newness, and be blessed too. Jesus taught me that if I myself was not renewed first, my expectation from others to change would be meaningless. Before I call others to pay attention to good things, they first must grab my own attention. If a peaceful, kind, and loving relationship does not capture my whole being, if patience and forgiveness become just mere words for me and do not play significant roles in my daily life, if justice is only good when others follow it, then all my story, talks, and advice will be unproductive and in vain. I grew up in an environment which valued superficiality more than truth. People normally expected others to change, but not themselves. I was therefore doing things which would make me very angry if others did those things to me. Such attitudes are the echoes of a self-centered life which sees the rights of others insignificant. Jesus Christ teaches, if the lives of others do not matter for you, if you are not in pain for the pains of others, your talks and teachings will be irrelevant to them. The work and leadership of Jesus Christ in my life was and is to sift the words and attitudes through the sieve of my conscience and keep those that shape my identity for good, but throw out those which chain me to indifference, ignorance, disrespect, discrimination, hatred, or war. One day I saw a television advertisement in a country which was to encourage citizens to avoid dropping litter in the streets and keep their city and environment clean. Then people could enjoy the tidiness in their city. In the advertisement, a lady had parked her car on a street, was peeling a mandarin and throwing the skins in the street. A man who was passing by collected the skins and threw them back into her car. She got angry at him for making her car dirty. His response to her was that he just did to her exactly what she was doing to others, and that she had no right to become angry if her actions were good. That was a good and educational advertisement. It showed that she was unable to see her conscience, to see a big problem with her own attitudes, making the city of millions dirty, but was very quick to get angry when somebody else did the same to her and made her car dirty. She needed someone to wake her up so that she would be able to refer to her conscience and see the serious problem of self-centeredness in herself, and as a result, find an alternative solution for having peace with others. Conscience is one of the greatest blessings we as humankind have inside us, to get us to think, weigh things around us, and stand for the best. Believe me, if there was not a conscience in us, I wouldn't want to have this conversation with you, because it would be hard for us both to understand each other without a conscience. Fortunately, we have this conscience, and because of it, I am so heartened to talk to you, tell my story, and share my heart and knowledge with you, with the hope that they can reveal the keys for newness. I have learned from the gospel of Jesus Christ that I have to rely on my conscience and encourage others to do the same. Otherwise, we may act as a barrier to the truth. This is what the gospel says in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2. We have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully, but by manifesting of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. The gospel is right. The truth does not need dishonesty and craftiness. The truth speaks to the minds, hearts, and consciences of people, and is able to prove its truthfulness. The truth never uses dishonesty and deceit as bridges to get into people's hearts. In the light of this great wisdom of Jesus Christ, I also believe that your conscience has made you capable of weighing things and discovering whether they are truthful or not. Your heart and mind may go for untruthful things, but your conscience does not. For this reason, I want to convey my story, my experiences, my knowledge and understanding to your conscience. I hope and pray that you allow your conscience to be vocal and guide you to a right decision. The changes in my life have happened from the root to the branches. I learned an amazing wisdom from the gospel of Jesus Christ. It says in Romans chapter 11, verse 16, if the root is holy, so are the branches. It brings forth the meaning that everything in our physical and spiritual life depends on the root we have. Our life is the reflection of the foundation or the root on which we are established. If our root or foundation is good, our life will also be good. Otherwise, we will not have a good life. Therefore, it is very vital for us to choose a truthful foundation or root in order to be established on that root and live with the truthful nutrition it supplies. But the truth is that we won't be able to have a truthful root unless we have a truthful belief. Only a truthful belief can give us a truthful root. That root is God, or the leader who has authored your belief. That's why I needed to find the true God or leader and establish myself on his values. A God or leader that would respect my freedom of choice and teach me to respect the freedom of all, both family members and others. This leader is the God that Jesus revealed to me. Not only does he respect people's freedom of choice, but also desires to have a personal relationship with people in order to reveal all good things to them personally. Unlike the God in Islam, he does not hide himself from people who desire to have him. He has created us personally for a personal relationship with him. Isn't it good and amazing to have a personal relationship with God, with the one who has given you life and is the source of every good thing? Of course it is. That's why I have an amazing story to tell you and the world. To tell you what happened and why I have a personal relationship with God. You see, I'm using the words what and why. I love the words why, what, and how. I learned from Jesus that these words are very important words of life. These words rescue us from untruth, fear, and blind obedience, but establish us on truth, courage, and willful decision making. You are not allowed to use the words why, what, and how in Islam. It is prohibited to question the words of Muhammad and his God in the Quran. It is also very costly to criticize Muslim leaders who are closely attached to Islam. As a result, you do not have freedom if you continue to be a Muslim. But the God of the Bible calls all of us to be accountable, to weigh before accepting a prophecy or instruction. I wouldn't follow Jesus if he did not authorize me to use the words what, why, and how in order to understand whether his path was the true path or not. Freedom is the first step in following Jesus. That's why he even respects the freedom of his enemies also. So I am following a God who has created me with freedom of choice. My freedom is the most important thing for God. No one has a right to impose his belief on me. Isn't this amazing? I therefore ask Jesus to establish me on his route, which guarantees my freedom in every aspect, both worldly and spiritually. On his route, I am enabled and prepared to pursue just, kind, loving, and peaceful relationship with people from every nation, language, race, and color. There is not a single enemy for me among humanity in the entire world. My enemy is only Satan, who is against the freedom of choice and wants to keep people in the darkness of indifference or ignorance. Do you realize now how the true God or standard or foundation or root affects every part of your life and prepares you wholly to enjoy your life and become a light for all. This light in you will never allow any agent of darkness to build a nest in you in order to make a mess of your own life or your relationship with others. I'm following this God now. Jesus established me on such a route, which has given me a new identity with a new heart, a new worldview with new political, social, and moral values, so that I can care for all, including my enemies. Jesus Christ revealed to me that a better choice necessitates a thorough understanding from the root of things to their branches. We are all in desperate need of making good choices if we wish to have a healthy life. I listened to him in order to make a good choice. I followed the truthful route in Jesus, then every branch of my life became comforting and amazing. The first comfort I received was the spiritual confidence about my afterlife. I realized that if a person is established on the route of God, he will be on that route forever, since the route is eternal. I'm now certain that I belong to God 100% of my life on earth, and I will also be with him forever. I should not worry about hell, since I am established on God's route. Isn't this confidence amazing and comforting? It is. Before meeting Jesus Christ, like all Muslims, I worried about my future in Islam. I wished to overcome the lack of confidence which Islam had left in me about the afterlife. The Quran says that nobody knows about his future. And Muhammad also said continually that he was unsure about his future. This was troubling me. I was asked to do everything for the God of Islam, follow the footsteps of Muhammad, yet all for an unknown future. But by reading Christian literature, I realized if God is compassionate, he should prove his very compassion to me in my life on earth. He does this by giving me confidence that I belong to him now and will be with him forever. The highest compassion I expect to see from God is to save me from my ambiguity. My spiritual assurance is more important than all other things he has given to me. I need salvation now. I need to overcome spiritual uncertainty now to become free. The true and compassionate God never asks people to put their trust in him for an unknown future. Actually, God's major mission is to release people from any ambiguity about their future and gain their trust. It is the same in our daily life. We do not put our trust in someone unless he proves his trustworthiness. It is here that we see a great weakness in the Quran in comparison with the gospel of Jesus Christ. The gospel teaches if you follow Jesus Christ now, you will be saved now and forever. But the Quran teaches if you follow Muhammad, you are not saved now and are not sure whether you will be saved in the afterlife or not. So by following Jesus, I was able to experience the compassion of God in my life on earth, be saved, and have assurance for eternity. The second amazing thing I received from the root of Jesus Christ is that I am a child of light, love, kindness, justice, righteousness, holiness, and peace. These are my identities, and those of every person who follows Jesus. If God is the light, love, kind, just, righteous, holy, and peace-loving God, I carry all these values with me since I am established on His foundation. I now have these tools and know how to deal with friends, opponents, and enemies. I am and need to be a light to friends, opponents, and enemies. Be kind to them and avoid being unjust to anyone with any excuse. I need to stretch my heart to them lovingly and encourage them to search for the best way together for having a long-lasting relationship. Isn't this amazing? When you believe that even your worst enemies can become your best friends if you approach them with loving wisdom and plead with them to find the best way for building a long-lasting relationship. It is amazing. I myself have experienced such amazing things in my relationship with some of those who did not like me because of my faith in Christ. Let me give you a couple of examples. One day a gentleman said to me that he did not like to hear anything from Christianity as it was rubbish to him. I asked him whether he truly believed it was rubbish. He said yes. I told him, then I need your help. I'm carrying it in my heart. I honestly do not like to carry rubbish in my heart. Could you please help me to get rid of this rubbish? Where do you want me to help you? He asked me. I said to him that Jesus says, love your neighbors as yourself. Love your enemies and bless them. And love your spouse as your own body. He is telling us that the best tools for you to build a long-lasting friendship are love and kindness. Which one of these look like a rubbish to you? He said that they are good. I told him again that Jesus said, the greatest of you must become the servant of all. Jesus is trying to say that only modest leadership can lead people in justice and peace. Dictatorship is unable to walk hand in hand with peace and justice. Where do you find rubbish in this? He said that he never knew these things were in the gospel. He apologized to me and I accepted to read the gospel. In another instance, an imam of a mosque started to attack me since I was revealing some verses of the Quran to people. I told him, sir, don't you believe that your religion is the last and perfect religion? Why should the follower of a religion use violence if it is called perfect and thereby has perfect wisdom for a peaceful conversation with others? You call Christianity imperfect. If that's the case, then I need to use violence if my religion is called imperfect. But conversely, you are using violence and I am peaceful. His conscience was touched and he noticed that I was right in challenging him for a peaceful talk. My short and peaceful talks with him became a good introduction for our 6-month friendly conversation. He eventually gave his heart to Jesus. An imam of a mosque left Islam and became a follower of Jesus. Isn't this amazing to you that I no longer respond to violence with violence? I have come from a violent background. I was a committed Muslim leader, politician, and a scholar. I had learned that violence was the only response to those who said no to Islam. But now, under the leadership of Jesus Christ, I approach my opponents with his love, kindness, and logic. Touch their consciences so that they can have an opportunity to think deep, find the truth, and become my friends. My journey from Islam to Christ has become a chance of blessing to all, including my opponents. This is my story. I am touched by Jesus Christ, renewed and have eternal confidence. I'm a new person now, free to use my mind, my heart, and my conscience in order to draw the attention of people to the real freedom. Thank you so much for listening to my story.